The other thing that I talked about, and I'll come on and talk about it in my return on investment when I finally get to my last slide, if I do, is I had this other big problem, this huge problem where my store managers were saying to me, John, this isn't going to work. I need people that have worked in retail. So I said, you know what? I have to keep my focus on this engine room of providing the volume. I do not have the expertise and I do not have the manpower internally to go out and find these people. So I actually decided, and by the way, we are a business that 100% in-source all of our recruitment. I have 120 recruiters working with me. So going to outsource isn't something that's particularly natural for us as a business. But I really needed some help. So I partnered with a company called McCarthy and said, actually, I'm going to outsource 10% of my need to you. I want you to go and find me somewhere between 225 to 250 people who absolutely are already working in retail at the moment, have the potential. They're probably going to be the highest paid people that we go and recruit, but I need you to do this at pace. And I also need you to go and partner my store teams to give them confidence that you're all over it. And they did, I've got to say, they did an absolutely brilliant job. And you know, for me, bearing in mind I only asked them in the end to fill 225 roles, couple of stats to pick up. You know, 100% of the CVs they submitted to my managers were invited to interview. Never heard of that before, 100% conversion. So the confidence levels that they started to gather just within a few days of getting in front of my managers just took a huge amount of pressure off me and my team to focus on the things, and it quietened down all of the noise over here. Out of the 353 interviews that went in, 225 roles were filled. I think it was something like 240 offers. I mean, that's an unbelievable interview to offer conversion rate. You know, I don't see that in retail. They just got it, they just understood, and they invested time in really understanding the business just to free me up, as I said, to do the things that were really important. But they had this 98% acceptance to start ratio. Really, really great. But the other thing I did, and I will focus on this because it's really important. The other thing I asked them to do is to how do you make my teams better at poaching and talent acquisition? So actually, McCarthy went out and they trained 50 of my HR teams and store managers in how to be a recruitment consultant. It's quite funny, actually. It's the sort of thing you want to be a fly on the wall for. I'm sure it was quite an interesting training session. But the store managers absolutely lapped it up. They loved it because they felt accountable. They went out and hired over 90 people directly. They direct sourced 90 people from poaching based on the training I've given them. That training cost me a few £1,000s. So my return on investment with that was massive. And what I think the lesson for me there is your recruitment team is much bigger than the people that you employ on your payroll. Your recruitment team, when you're dealing with volume like this, absolutely has to be every single person within your organisation who knows, loves and can support your brand and can spread that message, especially when you work in retail and you're so dispersed, because you know, they can get out and they can spread the message better than you. They loved the training and it really worked. And whilst that didn't fill my volume challenge, what it did is it just gave me time to focus on everything else I needed to do.